And we're live. Yes, Ring Kings podcast is back with a live stream. Look, man, we're just sitting here chopping it up, and we're like, we should just record. If we're gonna sit here, just chill and talk boxing. Let's get an episode in. So we are doing a live stream. There's a lot of news to discuss since our last episode. Um, so yeah, man. Look, Teofimo just won the belt. What was it, WBA or WBC, whichever title it was. It's too many belts. And then he just turned around and dropped it. Said he's retiring. He said, "I'm out, guys. Peace out, deuces."
I bet Josh Taylor was real upset about that. He's like, "Why you even bother?"
Right? Yeah. What'd you beat me for? You might as well wave, Jacob. You got in the shot. Say hi.
Yeah. you ain't slick.
Assistant producer Jacob there. Yes. So we're going to discuss some Teofimo. We're going to discuss Canelo. He gonna fight somebody, I guess. You know, me and B, we were just debating about this last week. You know, Canelo's next opponent. Who was going to be acceptable? Who was not going to be acceptable? Now, again, at this, right now, before fights actually come to fruition, you get a lot of names out there. But one name that was thrown out there was not acceptable. So we'll discuss that. And going back to Teofimo, the 140 division is very wide open. Mikey, you and I discussed that last night. That's going to get real interesting very soon, we think. So we're going to get into that. Oh, look who's in the chat. We got our guy Big Reg in the house. Salute to Big Reg. Yes. We got our guy Hendo from the Road Pod. Salute to you.
What's going on, Hendo?
And Suge, who was first, put 10th. 10th in the
What's
chat.
Up, Suge?
Yes. So yes, if you're listening to us, I should mention that. If you're listening to us on the audio, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Did you guys know? I know you know, Mikey, because you posted. Did you know that we are ranked 9th on Good Pods?
I did know.
What, indie sports?
Yeah, I did know.
You guys like us on Good Pods. Okay. Hey, salute to Good Pods, man.
We moving up the charts on Good Pods.
Yeah, yes. So if you're listening on Good Pods, keep leaving those good reviews and ratings and all that stuff. That's 9 out of 100. That's out of 100. So we're top 10. So we doing something right there. So yeah. So look, Canelo, we're going to discuss Teofimo. Also Devin Haney. They're looking like they're trying to work out a rematch with him and Lomachenko. Not that mad at that, So yeah, man. And of course the main event. Do we want to do that? We want to start with that, or we want to make this the main event? Ryan Garcia versus Golden Boy. It's like part 3, by the way. It's a rubber match with them. Thank you, Big Red. Big Red says well deserved. Salute.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Where do we want to start, guys?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know, man. Let's start with Ryan and Golden Boy, because I think that has a chance to get really, really, really ugly. As you said, this is like their third go at. This is at least their second or third time that they've had contractual issues and beefs. They were able to work them out one way or another before. This doesn't look like they want to deal with each other anymore, especially from Ryan's perspective. But we've seen, we were talking offline, and we've seen this happen before. I can't remember the fighter, but it was a solid, big, big name guy who was in a contract situation, and that loomed, and he was basically on the shelf for a year or two. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little nervous for Ryan, with this being in, the courts involved and stuff like that, how long this fight will play out, and if it affects him being able to get into the ring again. I mean, his name has come up, as you said. Teofimo said that Ryan DM'd him. He want to fight. He's been lined with Rolly. There's been a lot of, there's been some names that he's been tied to, especially moving up to 140. So I don't know, man. This is going to get ugly, I have a feeling, and I just hope that it doesn't shelf him too long or just affect him getting back in the ring.
Yeah, the fighter you're referring to, I believe, Rashidi Ellis, Speedy Ellis, who had kind of sat out for a long time, and came back and recently lost to Hoyman Villa.
He was with Golden Boy, right?
Yeah.
But so before you get into it, I just kind of want to recap for people that don't know what's going on with Ryan Garcia. Basically, he's trying to get out of his contract, right? He's just his lawyer sent a letter to Golden Boy saying, "Hey, they breached the contract." How I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if any details came out on it, but basically said they breached the contract, so we want out. And Golden Boy responded with a lawsuit suing Ryan, saying, "Hey, you have to honor the contract." So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and we know that it probably all stemmed from the Gervonta Davis loss, where he went to the press conference and nobody from Golden Boy was there, and they all just kind of, all of them had different alibis or lies as to why they didn't show up, but it was obviously a very poor relationship at that point. Like you don't do that to your own fighter publicly, even if you do have problems with them behind the scenes.
Right.
But then they started bad mouthing him publicly as well. So at this point, I don't know how you salvage that relationship. But like Mike said, hopefully it doesn't derail his career at this point, because he just switched trainers. And yeah, even though he lost the Gervonta fight, it kind of it increased his standing amongst fans, I would think, and going to Derek James was a very positive sign for him. So and moving up to 140, like we're going to talk about in a little bit, the prospects there are great. So hopefully he's back in the ring soon.
Yeah, I think yes, that we talked about it after that Tank fight, that win or lose, he was going to come out. He was going to win overall, because that loss he didn't take any hit really to his reputation. He got more respect for taking on an opponent like Tank, where it seems like these other fighters are kind of avoiding him, right? Or they're just not ready to make that fight, or not willing to make that fight. So he gets a lot of respect for that. And then everything that he did afterwards is in our books, his stock is going up, right? Okay, you took the fight with Tank, stock got, your respect gone up just from that.
Mm-hmm.
You're calling out Golden Boy, saying, "Hey, these guys don't have my back." Stock going up based off of that. You get with Derek James, the best trainer in the game right now, and saying, "Hey, I'm going up to 140. Hey, I want to get that belt off of Rolly real quick." Stock going up, right? So everything is looking up for him. Like, he coming off a loss, and he has an opportunity to go and get a belt right away. And there's a lot of belts available at 140. And the last straw was actually when he called out Rolly, said, "Hey, I want to make that fight happen." And Oscar tried to roll out a Pacquiao fight, telling people that might be next for him. That was the last straw, right? Because he said, "Look, I already told you I didn't want that fight. Like, I'm frustrated with all this already, and all I need you to do is just make the fight happen that I want. It's for a belt. Why would you hold me back?" Right? And then that's when they had that war of words on Twitter. That was the final straw. So yeah, he wants out, and Oscar is so, stubborn. It's beyond stubbornness, right? Like, he is supremely petty. The best thing for him to do would be to just let Ryan buy himself out the contract or whatever, right? And maybe that might be what they're going towards. But I can see him trying to drag this out. I can see him trying to hold him back like he did with Rashidi Ellis, right? And it's getting real ugly. But this is really the last cash cow for Golden Boy. They already lost Canelo, right? I guess Virgil Ortiz is still with them, right?
Yeah, he is. But, he's got a big fight coming up very soon, so we'll see if he's a cash cow or not.
Yes,
in the near future.
So I can understand Oscar not wanting to just let Ryan walk, but treat your talent better.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just looked it up. I'm not sure how true this is, but what I'm seeing is Garcia signed a 5-year deal in the fall of 2019.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Next year his contract will be up.
Yeah. Now I don't know if it was straight 5 years or if it was, you know, how some they'll sign a
number of fights,
5-fight deal or something like that.
What's up, Living Legend? Living Legend says Golden Girl Promotion said thank you for being a friend. Bazel says Oscar wouldn't give Mosley the Pat-Man fight. Mosley had to leave and create his own promotion company. Golden Boy is all about what Oscar wants. Yeah, he's just not a good manager. Right. That's just what comes down to. He's not a good manager. And from everything that's been reported, he wasn't really the one managing Golden Boy when they acquired all the talent. When Canelo was there, like when they were actual like a draw. I forget the guy's name. They said there was somebody else that was kind of running everything, and then Oscar pushed him out, and it's just gone downhill from there. And you can see it. I mean, let's just be real about it. Oscar has a major drinking problem. I can't be the only one that sees that, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this has to do with alcoholism, right? It's a speculation, but I think it's a very educated speculation. The man has shown up to boxing events. You know, he's one of the broadcasters on there, and he's drunk, clearly drunk. So when he does these tweets, you know, raging out against his own fighters, it seems like they're drunk tweets, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound like the stuff that he says sometimes doesn't sound like something that somebody that is sober or coherent would say. And I feel like when he just starts drinking, he just says whatever he wants to say, gets those Twitter fingers and just says whatever he wants to say, and he just doesn't take it back because he's always drinking.
Well, and it feels like he has never really adjusted to life after boxing.
Yeah,
and wanting, and being out of the spotlight. Like he wants to be a star still. That's like he's always putting himself front and center. He was, making that comeback to fight Vitor Belfort. And it's kind of sad to see, but he needs to. Like you said, it is speculation, but he looks like he needs to get himself some help.
Yeah.
And look, Oscar is who he is, but we got to put some of this on Ryan, because as we talked about before, this isn't the first time that they butted heads on contract situations. This isn't the first time Ryan Garcia wanted out of this deal. So, he signed that extension in 2019. Even with it being, some beef there, right?
Yeah.
And Oscar have shown some of his shady ways in the past with dealing with him anyway. So, I mean, I don't know if he felt like he needed him, but we got to put some of that on him as well and his team for signing that type of extension. Even though they lasted through the majority of it, it's just the history just showed that they've had their issues. So it's sad, man. I just hope this doesn't shelf the kid, because right now, as y'all said, man, he's his name, and that's the thing with Tank. That only very few fighters, have that ability, or it follows them. You saw it with Mayweather, you've seen it with Tank. Fighters that fight him, even in a loss, it catapults their career. I mean, look at Aesop Cruz. Those guys are their careers are catapulting because they lost to Tank.
Yeah.
So it's only so many fighters that you see that happening. Right now, Garcia has a lot of respect, when at a time it just looked like it wasn't, nobody thought he was for real. So, I mean, him having to sit on the shelf, possibly for a year or whatever it might be, if that's the case, if he got to play out this contract, man, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, and especially like we were mentioning with him possibly moving up to 140, right? Jose, you mentioned that Teofimo just won. It is the WBO title, and he just dropped it and said he's retiring at the age of 25. So that title is now vacant. The other champions at 140, you're talking about Subriel Matias, Rolly Romero, and Regis Prograis, right? I'm not going to say those guys are bad fighters, obviously, but if you're Ryan Garcia, if you're Devin Haney, you're probably looking at the 140 division like it's yours for the, it's there for the taking. Like, and you could be looking at a potential mega fight between Garcia and Haney at that weight class if he can kind of stay on track. Like you said, go and maybe take that belt off of Rolly, because I will say that he's a bad fighter. And if Devin moves up, maybe he gets himself a belt or two, and then you have a fight for the undisputed champion at 140. But that's something that can't really happen, or won't happen, I guess, if Oscar gets his way.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. This is going to be a 140 themed segment here, or a group of segments, because I want to talk about next is Teofimo Lopez retiring after his win over Josh Taylor. And right after this, I want to kind of just have an open discussion about the 140 division, because like you said, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of fighters, right? But let's discuss Teofimo real quick. We live streamed after the fight last week, and Teofimo dominated Josh Taylor. Dominator. I know some people were trying to argue with us online that it wasn't dominated. He didn't dominate him. I don't know what fight you were watching. He whooped him. Right. Those scorecards were absolute robbery. I gave Josh Taylor maybe 2 rounds. Right.
Yeah.
Now, Teofimo said it right after the fight that he was going to retire, but Teofimo, he's not of sound mind either. He says a lot of stuff, and we're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. But he did mention something about his son, want to get custody, and maybe that factors into it. But he did drop his belt, and it seems like that he is serious about retiring for now.
And I think that's what it is. I think that his he's kind of put out there is that his ex is keeping him from his son, and he wants to go and kind of fight that battle and get custody of his son. And obviously that's something that's going to be weighing on you, right? And I'm sure that he wants to just get that taken care of, get his family life situated, and I'm sure we'll see him back in the ring before too long once he actually does get that taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this leading up to the fight. The rumors of his divorce, that is pretty ugly situation. And then, as you said, his ex-wife, keeping his son away from him too. So that I'm sure that could play. That's going to play a huge factor. A lot of people don't realize too. We get on Charlo for his inactivity, but he was going through the same situation with a custody battle, and he just won custody of his 2 children. So, I can just imagine how that would mentally affect somebody who needs to be mentally all the way checked in when you're about to fight somebody. But then I think also, it's a money thing. He's not happy with how he's getting paid. He's been in the news over the last couple of weeks / months, with his comments about
the
top
black
rank.
Fighters.
Yeah, and black fighters being pushed to the forefront, especially in Top Rank, who he's aligned to. So I think this could be a stance on his contract and trying to get some more money, as well as I think Teofimo is he wants more attention, like that attention. He wants that attention that he had after beating Lomachenko, right? But he was on the top of the top, right? And then he had that bad showing against Kambosos, and then his stock fell way, way down.
Yeah.
And even though he had a good performance a week or 2 ago, I think he still clamors for that, because he's still, he's kind of falling in that Devin Haney. He's going down that route where he keeps mentioning Tank and stuff like that, and it's like, he'll mention all of his accolades, 2-time this, 2-time that, yada yada, and then he'll mention Tank. So I think all of that, in the same pot is affecting this decision, but he's doubled down on it, tripled down on it. So it's some legs to it, but I can't imagine him being done completely. But we've seen things that have been weird like this before. Calvin Johnson and those kind of guys stepping away from the game, and we're like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so maybe Patrick Willis, those guys. So maybe this is what he's gonna do, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. That the thing with the problem with Teofimo, and I agree with you. He mentioned that. He mentioned the money part, right? That he just wasn't getting paid enough for those fights. And I think he has the same issue that Devin Haney has, where they feel like they should be a little bit more recognized. They should be, be given a little bit more respect, and they should be making more money than they are making because of their accomplishments. Teofimo, I think, out of these young fighters, probably has the best resume, right? Mm-hmm. He beat Lomachenko and he just beat Josh Taylor, who was highly regarded. I mean, we all expected Josh Taylor to win that fight, and it went the exact opposite way. So that was a huge win for him. But like you said, what hurts him is the Kambosos loss. The Sandor Martin showing didn't look great. So yeah, of course your stock's going to drop, and you're saying a lot of ridiculous things. And I know he's trying, some of that is probably just him trying to get himself noticed, right?
Yeah.
But look, the fact is this: you're not managed well. Okay. Devin Haney, I don't think you're managed well enough, right? I think Devin Haney should be bigger than he is too. I think he does all the right things. I think he has a good attitude. I like, Bill Haney for the most part. And I think he's an excellent fighter, and he should be bigger than what he is, but they're not. Tank is, right? Mayweather did a great job starting out his career, and Mayweather is still involved seemingly, right? Setting up these fights and everything. Him and Al Heyman have done an excellent job promoting him, and he shows up. He's exciting. He knocks people out, and you can't knock him for that. I know people want what he has, but if you want to be that guy, then step in the ring with him and get yourself noticed. Get yourself noticed on the big stage like Ryan Garcia did. Ryan Garcia made that fight happen in spite of Oscar De La Hoya, because De La Hoya and them did not want that fight to go down, right? Garcia and Tank made that fight happen. So if instead of talking about Tank, crying about Tank, go and make the fight happen, right? If you're Haney, right now I think he's a free agent. I don't think he's with Top Rank right now. If that's the case, there's nothing stopping you from making that Tank fight, right? I know Tank has some legal issues right now, but that should be resolved here in the next few weeks, and nothing's holding you back. Go make the fight happen. Teofimo, same thing. He said this is going to be his last fight with Top Rank. I'm not sure if his contract is up or that's just him retiring. That's what he meant. But make the fight happen, right? That's the only way to go about it. Being Josh Taylor is impressive, but Josh Taylor ain't a big draw. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think he'll be back. That's going to be a short-lived thing because he's not going to get the recognition that he's clamoring for. People, good win, and in a couple of weeks, they're going to start talking about you. This is what it is.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right, particularly when it comes to Haney. He's not a particularly exciting fighter. He's a very skilled fighter, but he's had 7 straight unanimous decisions, which is going to be really what people have seen of you. Most people haven't seen him fight prior to that. Because this is when his name is kind of getting bigger, and he's taking bigger fights and all that. And yeah, you don't have that kind of power. You don't go for the knockout, and most fans, if you want to do big numbers, you need casual fans, and casual fans want to see people get knocked out. And people know Tank brings that. Same thing with Teofimo. Like he was that kind of fighter, but then you went and you got beat. Yeah. And you had a couple of poor performances. So you got to rebuild from there. And I think this is probably the right thing for Teofimo to do, to kind of step away for a bit and see if he can get himself refocused, get everything back on track, the way it had been when he was coming up, and then try to make his comeback. But yeah, probably didn't need to drop the belt to do that. Like
Right.
Charlo been sitting there for 2 years and they didn't take his belt. So
Yeah.
yeah,
He just wanted to make a statement. He was throwing a temper
yeah,
tantrum. He said,
yeah,
"Okay, I still got it. Ha ha. You guys thought I was
Mhm.
done, and now I'm quitting on my terms." And fine, it is what it is.
yeah.
And according to this article, let's see, Boxing News,
Mm.
boxingnews24.com. Teal still has 3 years left on his deal with Bob Arum.
Oh yeah.
So
This is my last fight on ESPN, and then he got a call. You got 3 years left. I quit.
right.
That's probably what it was. Yeah. They're like,
So-
actually, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, so I know he was asking for, he wants $100 million contract and things like that. He's gonna have to do some waiting on that. If he still has 3 years left on that deal. So
What's going to happen is he's going to come back. He should not drop that belt. He's going to come back and he's going to have to fight for that belt again, and he's going to have to fight these other guys that are going to be fighting for these belts, and we're going to see where the chips fall, right? But he's not done with Bob Arum. But Bob Arum isn't done with him. He may not like it. He may not like that he's promoting the black fighters over him, but that's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Don't sign the deal then, right? And again, he's another one that had an issue with Bob Arum before he signed that deal, because I know his deal was up after he lost Kambosos. I think that was his last fight, because they were talking about that. They're talking about that, him not going back, and then he signed another deal, and that's when Bob Arum was talking all that trash about him, right? Oh, I told him not to take that fight, and he wasn't ready, and this is and that, and he had some health issue, or he almost died, and like he was saying all kinds of gibberish, right? You should have walked away then, but you went back, So we'll see Teofimo again. Now, going on with the theme of 140.
Hold on, what Chris White says, if they keep grinding, they'll get the recognition. Not necessarily, man. There's a lot of really talented fighters who have had, a lot of big wins who never make it in terms of the purse. Like they just don't have those big fights. And style has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
I think Teofimo can get there.
Yeah, he could.
If he comes back and he remains that exciting fighter, I don't know that Devin Haney ever will.
I think Devin Haney needs to be promoted a little bit better, right? He can't get there. He needs to be promoted better.
It's possible. I think it's going to be much harder for him because of the way he fights.
Yeah.
It's just yes, Chris. He's only 24, but this was his first pay-per-view. Like he's just not a guy that people want to see at this
was pay-per-view?
The fight.
Yeah, ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about for Lomachenko?
No. I'm saying Devin Haney. This is his first pay-per-view. He was a
Oh, I thought you were talking about Teofimo.
Oh no, because he's saying Dev is only 24. I'm like, yeah, but he's a champion. He's an undisputed champion, and up until now, he was just fighting on ESPN Plus because they can't do numbers with him at this point.
Okay, so let's all right, let's move over to 140 because this includes Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, who floats between 135 and 140. These guys have to be looking at the landscape and looking at chops. Josh Taylor too. Josh Taylor got beat, but that belt got dropped, and the man that beat you is retiring. And you're looking at the landscape, man. Regis Prograis, Subriel Matias, Rolly Romero, and a vacant belt right now. That's very appealing to these fighters. So what's going to be the game plan? Tank is doing a little time right now. When he's done, that should be over with in a few weeks, right? He didn't have a long sentence. He was under house arrest for a little stint, and then the judge decided, now you're going to finish out your sentence in prison. But it's only like 90 days. So when he gets out, what route does he go, right? He could I mean, he has all the options, right? If he goes after Devin Haney, Shakur, or he goes up to 140 and grabs one of those belts, he could do that. I mean, he already beat Rolly. That could be another fight. I mean, it could be anything. And same thing for Devin Haney. Devin Haney, undisputed at 135, just beat Lomachenko. Somewhat controversial decision. Not that controversial for me. I had him winning, but it was a close fight. And he could easily take that rematch. I wouldn't begrudge him for taking the rematch in a fight that close. But he said it, his words, that it's just hard for him to make that weight now, right? He wants to move up to 140. So he goes to 140. I think he could beat any of those champions, those current champions right now, right? So he can go out there and get a belt. Ryan Garcia is trying to get a belt, and his promotion, Golden Boy promotion, is holding him back. So there are a lot of guys out there, and Josh Taylor, who just got beat. Josh Taylor might be washed too. We have to talk about that. But Josh Taylor, there's a vacant title out there though. There's a vacant title. He can go right back and get that belt.
Unless they make him fight Jack Catterall for it.
Well, I'm about to say Jack Catterall's out there like, hold on a second, my friends. So what do you guys think about the 140 division? What fights are going to happen? What fights need to happen coming up here? And we didn't even talk about Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis looked bad over the weekend.
He even said he looked bad. So it's not us. He said he looked bad.
Yeah. I don't know, Regis. Regis been doing a lot of talking too. I don't feel
he does a lot of talking.
I will say this for those guys that had the belts now. Clutch them tight, hold them tight.
Enjoy them while you got them.
Yeah, tell them that you love them, and because enjoy the moment, be in the moment. Because I just feel like some real killers are coming for you, and you're not going to be holding on to those belts for long. But look, man, we were all wrong about Teofimo. We thought Josh Taylor was going to wash him, and he proved us wrong. So, maybe some of these guys are better than we think, but I don't think so. Don Q, what's going on? Says, "Sup, fellas? Did you guys see that Benavidez and Morrell agreed to a fight in principle in the fall? I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. That should be a good fight. Yeah,
not who we wanted, but we'll take it. That's a good fight. But yeah, man, look, there was talks leading me before this fight this past weekend with Regis. There's still, Bill Haney was live in New Orleans for the fight. There's talks of Regis and Devin Haney. That'll be his first fight moving up to 140. So that those two right now are aligned at that 140 position. Weight class. So I guess it's a strong chance that we see that. I don't know. I'm with you. I think that he'll fit in there fine. Hopefully he jumps right into a fight like that with Regis. Right? If you're gonna move up, go ahead and get a bat. Go ahead and get a belt. You know what I mean? So I guess that'll be a solid fight. But it's a division, man. Like you said, it's wide open. It is up for grabs. I like Regis. I was not impressed at all this past weekend. He kind of put it on the hometown jitters, fighting in front of his home crowd, and putting on your first, the card that you're headlining at home. So he put it on.
That could be it. Yeah.
I've seen, we've seen other fighters say that before too. But him and Devin, I think, will be a good matchup. I think Devin beats him. So it's a lot of, I guess Devin is seeing green pastures as he as he looks up to the 140 division, man. And he maybe go in there and do his thing there too. But at one point it kind of seemed like a division that was kind of it was okay. It had solid people there, especially with Tank floating in between the two divisions. But it's looking like it's getting ready to be a hot division for a little while if everything everything aligns like we think it will, especially if Devin really moves up, which it looks like is going to happen. If Ryan doesn't get held back, we'll see some things going on there. So Josh Taylor, he's going to be a name that we hear all the time anyway, even though he looked bad his last two fights. People forget that
Yes.
Cannonball actually won that fight, in my opinion. So he should have probably been in that fight this past weekend with Teofimo, but Catterall's there too, who's solid. So you'll see some good fights in this division going forward. So that's just hope. But I hope Devin jumps right into a big matchup, preferably Regis.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 140 division is a division that has a lot of solid fighters, but a lot of good fighters, and they're about to get a top end. You got Teofimo, possibly getting Ryan Garcia, possibly getting Devin Haney. So yeah, like Mike said, it's gonna be hot for a while. I think that Gervonta is probably going to stick at 135 and end up fighting Shakur down there. And I think that maybe at some point you could see either Shakur or Tank in maybe a catchweight fight with Devin Haney. After he collects some belts, because I agree. I think he would beat Teofimo. I don't think it'll be an easy fight by any means, but I think he beats Teofimo, and I don't think any of those other guys at 140 are on his level in terms of skill. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see the route that these guys go. Because the thing with Devin Haney is I think it's probably in his best interest to go to 140. Especially, he said he's having a lot of trouble making 135. He's already been the undisputed champion at 135 for a while. He could potentially become the undisputed champion at 140 as well. But the problem is you've done a lot of talking about Tank Davis. And
that's the problem.
And Tank is there, and you're going to look like you're running if you leave 135 and Tank is at 135 now.
What's up, Jay? Thanks for coming through. You're absolutely right. That's the problem. He did a lot of talking. He did a lot of talking while promoting other fights, right? So now it's look, there's nothing really in your way. You can do that fight next, right? Work it out with Tank. Wait for Tank to get out and work that out. You don't have to jump into another fight if you really want that next. So people are going to look at that and say, what are you going to do? But I think he does have it out if he does a rematch with Lomachenko, because nobody's going to be good. Like I said, I wouldn't begrudge him. Like, yeah, that's a close fight. All right, cool. Let's run it back. Let's see. Boxing with Frank Bay says Tio smokes. Who's Davina? Are you trying to say Davis?
Dev.
This dude tripping.
I guess he called it Devin Davina.
Okay, boxing with Frank. That's your opinion. Ain't nobody tripping over here. But I mean, Teofimo, who looked bad the fight right before that, and we were at that fight. I mean, tell that to Sandor Martin, right? Because a lot of people had
George
Kambosos. Like, let's not act like Teofimo is perfect. So, but Devin Haney, like I said, he did it to himself. You keep calling out somebody, you can't keep making excuses for not fighting him. You gotta make the fight happen. So to me, that needs to be the next fight for Devin Haney. But we'll see, man. Like I said,
it's just not Tank. I mean, there was the war words with Shakur, so he's called out the top guys, in one way or another. So it's like, what you gonna do, man? You gonna stay there? You gonna fight one of them at least, and then move up, or you just gonna go ahead and move up? I mean, he has options, which is a good thing, but he seems to care a lot about what the boxing community thinks of him. Like we said before, he wants to be known as one of the best. We've talked about having a problem with him not getting the same attention as a Tank or somebody like that. But so it's, I mean, one of the ways to offset that is to jump in the ring with one of those guys. I personally would like to see him, stay down, fight Tank or Shakur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and then bolt. You know what I mean, and then go from there. At least I fought one of you guys, and y'all can have the rest of that.
Yeah.
But he's got some options, so we'll see what he decides to do. But who knows, man? It's just one of those things where I think he's in good hands with Bill. But
yeah, I think so.
I don't know, man. And then I think too, I forget in this aspect they're talking about working on Dev and Loma too. So he may he may not fight either one of those two guys and then fight Loma and then move up. So we'll see what he does.
Hey, I want to bring this. I'm not going to give Frank too much more recognition here because I want Frank to know because he do here, right? This ain't one of those shows where we're gonna sit here and debate back and forth with you. We're not dropping any link, so don't even start with that, right? And you want to call us casuals, we all good with that. Okay, we like to have casual conversations here. There's a lot of casual fans that watch, and we like to educate, and we like to be educated sometimes. But this right here, there's nothing educational about this. You are just an emotional person stating your feelings, and that's all it is. It's just your feelings. Ain't nobody hating over here. We were at the Sandor Martin fight. Okay, we were there live. Teal's own fan base was booing him. Teofimo asked himself after the fight, "Do I still got it?" And that wasn't him just playing up to the crowd. He looked defeated.
I love how he says, "Oh, you act like Teo didn't beat Sandor," and then says that Haney got his ass beat by Loma like he didn't win that fight.
Right. What's the difference?
What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah,
but we sound like the casuals. Look, it's cool, man. Boxing with Frank, welcome, man. We like this. We welcome smoke at all costs, but name calling we don't put up with. But you can disagree with us. We don't have no problem because we clearly disagree with you.
Right.
In both situations you're talking about, Sandor Martin, the Teo didn't like. It wasn't like he handed him an ass whooping in that fight. He didn't look great there, right? He did not look great. So, and in the Haney situation, it was close, but he didn't get his ass beat. Right. So, whatever. We could disagree, but we'll just keep it at that.
Facts. So, yeah, but there's a lot. There's a lot of opportunities for some good fights, some big fights at 140. So, hopefully they make them happen. I mean, they're going to happen because you have fights like Ryan Garcia that, Ryan, it's funny because my opinion completely changed on Ryan Garcia, right? He went from that person that it seemed like he was always stuck in the top fighters. Now I feel like he going to go after it a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like he's going to go after it a little bit. And Devin, I think eventually, whether he does another fight or two fights at 135, eventually he will go to 140. So he's going to be looking for title fights, right? So, there's a lot of good fighters that are moving up that want those belts and they're up for grabs. So I'm excited about that. Okay, we mentioned him earlier. Canelo Alvarez. Me and B had a spirited debate. Look, Mikey, some people got scared last week. Okay, they thought we were fighting. I was like, we're not fighting. This is how me and B talk. Like, there's no, like, it was fine. Like, nobody was angry. The conversation actually started with Boots Ennis. We probably should talk about Boots Ennis a little bit because that's how it started. Well, actually, it started with Jaime Munguia. We all agree that Jaime Munguia is the most protected fighter in boxing. I don't think anybody debates that. But B brought up a good point, an interesting point about Jaron Boots Ennis, about he's a little protected too, right? And then I can't remember who put it in the chat.
Jared. I remember it was Jared because I want Jared to come in here and tell me about his boy David Benavidez right about now.
You don't like that fight with David Morrell?
David, look, I don't have anything against David Morrell. He's an exciting fighter and all. He has 9 fights.
Fair enough.
9 fights. So don't tell me about Canelo and then be like it's cool for Benavidez to go fight some dude with 9 fights instead of fighting Andre or making a fight with Charlo or doing whatever.
I agree, and I told you last week, right? He's at a point where I don't want any of these tune-up fights for him moving forward. I need to see him fighting, the top fighters. So agreed. But what we heard initially, it's not happening. But initially, it was reported that Canelo and Badou Jack was like 90% close to being done. And I don't think any of us like that one. Right? I don't think any of us were like, Now there's a fight we want to see. No, and let me start by saying this, okay? Because I will not accept any Badu Jack slander on this channel. I love Badu Jack. I am B knows I'm a Badu Jack fan. Okay. He surprisingly has had a pretty accomplished career, right? 3 division champion, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and cruiserweight. I looked it up. Pretty well accomplished. He's had some unfortunate draws in his career. I don't think there were draws.
I feel like he won all 3 of his draws.
Me too. So, but he's older. I didn't even know when he was fighting for that cruiserweight belt that was a championship match. I thought that was just like another little thriller fight or whatever. But he won. Very excited for him, and I feel like he should ride off in the sunset. But when you got payday staring you in the face like Canelo, I get the temptation. But for Canelo, I was just like, man, no, I don't like that idea, man. I don't like that. Nobody's looking at Badu Jack as a top fighter. But that's not even happening because Badu Jack came out and said, Canelo wants me to fight him at 180. So I got to drop 20 pounds and there's a rehydration clause. That I don't like at all. Like I didn't like the idea of him fighting Badu Jack to begin with, but telling him you got to drain yourself 20 pounds? No. So I don't know what's going on with Canelo, man. Like,
yeah, I didn't like the idea of a Badu Jack fight, but like I told you, I understood from Canelo's perspective that's a bigger fight for his legacy than a David Benavidez fight potentially.
Another belt, like
because he'd be another division champion, whereas David Benavidez is a legacy fight if Benavidez goes on to be a great fighter, which is not something that's happened yet.
Yeah.
But saying I want to be the champion at 200 pounds, but you got to fight me at 180 is pretty weak. Like, honestly, that's a very bad look for Canelo.
Yeah. What you think, Mikey?
Yeah, man. Once I heard the name, I was not excited of that fight at all. I think the Bivol situation got Canelo a little shook, right? Going in there with some, bigger fighters and stuff like that, man. He saw that he couldn't walk through Bivol. I don't know if Badu would give him the same type of trouble, but I mean, the bigger guy is a bigger guy, right? And we do have to realize that size does matter to a certain degree in boxing, right? It just is what it is. You'll notice that some guys, will move up 5 pounds. And maybe their power doesn't translate there, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and it's just 5 pounds. So you going 5 pounds heavier, you hitting guys that are bigger, and your power isn't affecting them as it was at the division. Just like, I mean, Teofimo. I think Teofimo showed more power at 135, but when he moved up to 140, it hasn't really translated, right? So I don't know. I wasn't excited about that matchup at all. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what's next. I don't know who he fight next, right? That's the they're getting us hyped with this Charlo situation.
I was gonna mention that's the fight that they're talking about next.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust that either, right? Yeah. And it's not from Canelo's side, it's just who's involved in it. Charlo, he ain't active, so does he want to jump right into that? So I don't know what Canelo does, but personally, I just feel like Canelo is on the back nine of his career, and I just think that, at this point, I mean, he makes a crap ton of money fighting anybody. And I think Spence just said this too on an interview he did, that Spence said that Canelo is a top dog in boxing. And he was like, he can fight Ray from Walmart and he'll still make $50 million. So
he did on May 5th.
Yeah.
Real quick, Don, cruiserweight is 200 pounds now. It used to be 190, now it's 200. And I shouldn't say that about John Ryder. John Ryder is, he's a solid guy, but he is.
But he's not somebody that we consider like,
My
yeah, like,
apologies.
yeah. I mean, relatively speaking, when we call somebody, it's the same thing with any of these sports. You call somebody a bum, that's relatively speaking. They are superhumans to us. Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite quote.
You don't want the Rider Hive to jump in here
from old Brian Scalabrine. I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me.
Right. Yes. None of us want to get in the ring with John Ryder. I can guarantee you that.
Nor would I.
I would not. No.
I'd be that cop putting on some smooth jazz and be like, why can't we be friends?
Listen,
when he was talking to Devin Haney.
I did a little boxing as a teenager. I could tell you there are so many levels to boxing, and those guys that we call tune-ups, those guys are amazing boxers. Okay, don't get it twisted. So some of those professional fighters that we say, oh, they're bums, they're not bums. They're bums compared to their peers in their sport. But the rest of us amateurs, they will wash us. Okay, but no, man, like that's just not the fight that we wanted to see. And then to throw in that stipulation, it's like, okay, so you're not really trying to fight for a cruiserweight. And and shout out to Ferris, man. Like Ferris says, Badu Jack would whoop Canelo, right? I don't think Badu Jack. Look, again, there's no slander on this channel, but I don't think Badu Jack, especially at this age, has the same skill set. If it was just skill wise, if this was, when we talk about pound for pound, right? All things equal in the size and weight, I don't think Badu Jack would beat Canelo, right? Yeah. But I was gonna say, but because Badu Jack is so much bigger, right? Then there's that, there's a possibility that Canelo just gets beat on, right? And that's why I don't like that. I don't want that built-in excuse like, oh, he just fought a bigger guy. No. If you're really gonna go for it, man, go for it.
He tried to take that away for you by making him cut down to 180, but you didn't like that either. So what's he supposed to do? What's the answer?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Foos 8-ball gamer says Badu Jack's the one that asked for the fight. Keep it real. That's not true. I mean, we're not gonna make stuff up here. That's not true.
But I mean, even if he did, like, I don't think he was expecting to have to drop a dub in pounds and weight, and then he can't rehydrate. So even if he did ask for the fight, I mean, I don't have a problem with him asking for the fight. It's a big money fight for him too, right? He'll probably make more money than he's ever made in his career making that fight. But
you looking at Francis?
Badu Jack has all the skills.
He has all praise, Almighty, my Muslim brother Badu. Yes. Ferris is yes. Because Ferris was picking against some of his Muslim brothers before, so he's repenting right now. Okay?
But yeah, even if he asked for the fight, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with him asking for the fight. That's cool. But we're talking about the stipulations that was placed on the fight happening. So bro, Badu just asked for the fight on Mike Tyson. You the one that don't know. Listen,
okay,
that's fine. We okay with that. But did he ask Food's 8-ball gamer? Did he ask for those stipulations? Is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the fight itself. We're talking about the stipulations being placed on the fight.
And who cares if he asked for the fight? They don't have to say yes.
Okay, look. I say he didn't do it. Okay, if he did call him out for the fight, my mistake. But I'm gonna go look into this, and if I find out that ain't true, I'm gonna block you, dude. Don't come on here lying. You know what I'm saying? Like you out here trying to school us. Okay, cool. We don't mind being educated, but you better be right.
Moses Badu Jack fought at 168 as well. So Canelo just supposed to go up 30 pounds. If he wants to be the cruiserweight champion, yes, he should fight at cruiserweight.
Okay, yeah.
What are you doing right now?
Now I'm glad. I am glad you brought this up because I did see that tweet. I was talking to you about that before we came on air, Mikey. Canelo retweeted something that was similar to this. That Badu Jack fought at 168. How long ago was that? That was like 2 or 3 years ago, right? And he's not at 168 anymore. He's a cruiserweight. So, like B said, if you want the cruiserweight belt, you move up to cruiserweight, which is 200 now.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not even telling him, hey, meet me, meet me at 190, whatever. You're saying 180, drop 20 pounds. That's not where he's at anymore. He's an older fighter. He's on his last legs. That's the fight. That's where he's more natural. That's where he's comfortable. 168. Let's just be real. Oh, Canelo's supposed to go up 30 pounds? Yes. Right? He did it. He moved up a few pounds when he thought he had some easy pickings with Bivol. Found out it didn't work that way. He sees an easy target in Badu Jack, but he's afraid of the weight differential. He's like, okay, Badu Jack, I think I could take him, but that's too heavy for me. Let me see if he'll come down some. No. Either you want to do the fight or you don't. If you're daring to be great, dare to be great. And move up and take the fight.
And not to cut you off, say this isn't the first time that Canelo has flirted with going to cruiserweight. The other champion that just lost a month ago, I can't think of his name, the African guy, but he just lost, right? He just lost his belt. Canelo was flirting with fighting him too because he wanted to get that belt as well. But
the one that Badu Jack beat.
Is that the one? No, not that one. This happened. He lost to a new guy.
You talking about the cruiserweight?
Yeah, cruiserweight guy.
Makabu? Junior Makabu? That's somebody else? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look it up. But he flirted with fighting that guy. But I will say this. Why, Bivol offered to move down to fight Canelo, right? He didn't want to accept that. So, like, he wants to move up to fight Bivol. But Bivol is saying, look, man, let me come down. Let me fight for something. Let me fight for your belts.
Right.
You want to fight. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And I do think it's a payday for Badu Jack. I do. But, this isn't Canelo's first time flirting with fighting in these higher weight divisions. So, if he's asking for that, then yeah, he has to abide by the rules, I would think, if that's what he wants to do.
Right. So here's the thing. If you're saying, hey, 30 pounds is a lot to move up, I agree. That's why you just say no to the fight, right? Hey, look, man, 30 pounds, I can't go to cruiserweight. Light heavyweight was a lot. I think I can manage that, but cruiserweight, that's a little too heavy. Can't do that fight. If you want to meet me at light heavyweight or something like that, maybe we can do that. Otherwise, the answer is no, right? Cool. And to Mikey's point, you have Bivol who offered to come down to fight you at your weight, and you don't want to do that. Okay, this is what we're talking about.
It was Lawrence Okuli or whatever.
Okuli, okay.
Yeah, that's Canelo had flirted with fighting him before as well. Yeah. Before, and he just lost his belt.
Yeah. So, but the overall point is, where's Canelo going to go? Right? Like, he's not okay. The Badu Jack thing, no matter how you feel about it, okay, that's not happening. He's saying that Badu Jack called him out. Canelo said, "Okay, let's do it." Yeah, no, he didn't say let's do it. He said let's do it at a different weight class. That's what he said, right? But I still want to fight for your belt. That's not saying okay, let's do it. But either way, that's not happening. There's been talk of Jamal Charlo. I would like to see that fight, even though Charlo's been off for about 2 years. But again, Charlo's one of those people. He's been calling for it. I wouldn't give him any excuse if he lost. I don't care if it's a 2-year layoff. You've been asking for it. You need to go out there and show out if you get that fight. But it's still early on. I don't know if that fight's going to happen. David Benavidez got the fight going with Morrell. So if it's not Charlo, who else? Is there any other option for Canelo if it's not Charlo?
Well, I'm with Gamer. Let's do that. Let's do Badu Jack. Let's give him the smoke then. Let's let Badu Jack move down to 20 pounds and then let's make the fight happen since he called out Canelo. I don't know, man. Look, I just want to see the best fights at this point, right? Like I said, we have a lot of respect here for Canelo. I do think he's on the back nine. I don't think that Canelo is I don't think Canelo is into the sport of boxing like he once was. right?
I
I
can
just
understand
think
that.
that, I mean, he's been in there a long time. He's fought a long time. Has a lot of fights. He has a lot of wear and tear on his body, even though he's fairly young in age. Um, so, you know, I think Canelo of old, right, would have welcomed all these guys in, right? I also do, in Canelo's defense, and I think B, you spoke on this before. I think Canelo has an issue. He realizes that a lot of these guys are chasing him for a payday. So he's saying, "Look, man, won't y'all fight each other before y'all come fight me?" And I got that. I truly, truly, truly get it. But there's other people in between those guys that you waiting to fight, other than John Ryder and then a Badu Jack, even moving up to or whatever you're going to do in that situation, even entertaining it. Even if Badu Jack called him out, even entertaining that, then you entertained it for a reason, and it was close to happening. So they were saying. So I don't know. The only thing at this point right now, I want to see Charlo. I want to see it be Charlo. We know it's not going to be Benavidez, right? So the next best thing to me is Charlo. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust either side in that situation of making that fight happen. So we'll see, man. But Canelo is just he chilling. He on the back nine. He gonna make a ton of money no matter who he fights. And the great boxing philosopher they call Riddick Bowe said it's hard to train when you wearing silk boxers. So when you
Look, man.
when you making a ton of money, man, and it's just maybe the love for it isn't quite there as much as it once was for Canelo.
It's not right. It clearly isn't right. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. He's had a great career, obviously, but yeah, for me, Charlo or Bivol. Bivol said, "Hey, I want to come down and fight you at your weight. I want to fight for your belts. Right? I put my belt on the line. You didn't get it. I want you to put your belts on the line. Why not do a 2-fight deal if you can? Because yes, Canelo wants to move up. He wants to get a chance to fight for light heavyweight, right? And when you're the man, you can you can dictate a lot of that stuff, but you lost. You know what I'm saying? Like Bivol whooped you, and even though yes, Canelo's still the man, like in terms of the draw, he beat you, and he's a champ there, and you want to rematch with him. It's easy for him to say, "Nah, I already whooped you. I can move on," because Better Biev is a fight that a lot of us want to see. Bivol and Better Biev, right? He's looking at that. If he's saying, okay, if you're putting something on the line this time, then I'll do that fight. You got to be the hungry. You got to be hungry, right? You want that get back. You want that. You want that revenge. So you need to go out there. Bivol didn't duck the smoke. For foosballer, he didn't duck the smoke. He whooped Canelo, and this time he wants a shot at his titles. Canelo needs to be the one that says, yes, I'll give you a shot. But like I said, I think a fair way to do this is, hey, I'm gonna give you a shot at 168. Then I want a shot at light heavyweight the next time around, right? A 3-fight, that'll be a trilogy match or whatever, right? But Bivol he don't owe Canelo anything at this point.
I think that's fair if you're Canelo. Bivol beat him arguably every round of that fight. Why would you want to fight Canelo again?
No, you're right. Money,
yeah, but I mean,
in the belts.
Yeah.
At 168. Yeah, that's why. That's the only reason Bivol wants to do it. If it was just a rematch, I mean, he told you, I don't want to do another rematch. I dominated him. I want to fight Better Biev, right? I want to be an undisputed champion, right?
But Canelo doesn't want to put his belts on the line, so there's no reason for Bivol to take that fight with Canelo, put his belt on the line against somebody who he completely dominated the first time he fought him. He gave him that chance already. He didn't duck anything. He gave him the fight, and he beat the hell out of him.
So, look, we foosball. You're new here. We actually like Canelo. We like Canelo a lot here, but I've been seeing the decline in Canelo since Billy Joe Saunders. That's where he started to look different for me, because before that fight, I thought Canelo he was on a different level, right? The way he moved, he had the power, he had the total package, and he moved up. And like I said, I noticed that in the Billy Joe Saunders fight, like the first couple of rounds, I was like, man, Billy Joe Saunders, yeah, he looks like he's winning a little bit, right? But he put Billy Joe Saunders away. All right, cool. Then the Caleb Plant fight, me and Mikey were texting each other. We're like, bro, Canelo losing, right? Canelo's losing this fight, and Caleb Plant is really good. Let me just say that Caleb Plant's his weakness is he fades in the later rounds. If Caleb Plant had more stamina, more endurance, he'd probably still be undefeated right now because he whooped up on Benavidez too.
Yeah.
All right. But he faded, got that win. All right, cool. Goes into the Bivol fight. And this is where I thought that we would see old Canelo moving around boxing. But he went in there flat-footed like he did the previous two fights and thinking he's going to walk down a bigger man. And he's got his head rocked, right? Okay, cool. Goes and fights Triple G. I saw a little bit more movement with Triple G. Saw a little bit more, right? That was an easy win for him. John Ryder, again, flat-footed. Just walking him down. And yeah, he dominated him. John Ryder won nothing. But I just don't think he has it like that anymore. I think he's lost a step.
Did you watch the fight? Did you watch the fight? I'm assuming you watched the fight. It's no way that you agree with that 114 card. Like, come on. If we're gonna talk, let's keep it real with each other. Like, we're not here to change your opinion, right? We are not here to change your opinion. We can disagree on opinions all day long, but there comes a point where we got to keep it real. And you did not agree with that 114 card, right?
No, he thought Canelo won.
So the capping is no capping going on here. Like, we saw the fight. And there was no 114 card. It shouldn't have been. That fight wasn't close, and it's okay, right? We know that if you're a Canelo guy, it's okay. But he lost that fight clearly.
Same thing with the Mayweather fight, right? Did you think that was a close fight?
Now, if he says that, we kicking him out.
Facts. Yes. Let us know right now. Let us know. Okay. First of all, we identify that you're a Canelo fan. Okay, it's not a shot to you. Boxing is a very tribal sport, right? Like, people identify themselves with fighters. They go in allegiance with fighters. And if you're a Canelo fan, cool, right? It's not a shot to you personally, okay? But you got to speak some truths over here. And there's no way you thought that was a close fight. And just let us know. You ain't got to say anything else. Let us know. In the Mayweather fight, did you think Canelo Mayweather was a close fight? Because one of the judges had that a draw. Do you think that fight was a close fight? Let us know. Okay. And don't say you're not a fan. Don't lie to us. Okay. Don't lie to us. Not a fan. I just keep it real.
Yeah. How are we so we cap it.
Let us know. Do you think that fight with Mayweather? Don't put anything else in there. Just let us know. Okay. Just let us know so we can kick you out and keep it moving. Because,
bruh, look, Canelo, listen. You could go back if listen, first of all, food's a baller. We're joking with you, man. Thank you for stepping in here and chopping it up with us. If you like it, man, go back and watch. We did a live stream after that fight, and there was no capping going on in that fight. I mean, during that stream, we kept it real. Canelo got his, whip, and
he bruised the hell out of Bivol's arm though.
Yeah, and nobody.
I got put in time out. Mayweather won, but it wasn't an ass whooping. Y'all saw this? Okay, all right.
What are you talking about? What are we doing right now?
We're taking your opinion, bro. It's okay.
Well, man, look, hey, listen. It's cool, man. Like, we saw you don't want to be here, right? That's cool, man.
We'll help you out with that, bro.
Yeah,
we gotta be soft because we not agreeing with your opinion. That's what it is.
We gotta be soft because your favorite fighter got his ass kicked.
Yeah, we talked about your man and you're crying about it. Listen. I just want you to know, like, me and B got into an argument about this. I did not like, because it was a 2-fight deal. He had two options. He could have fought Charlo and Benavidez. That was one package. The other package was Bivol and Triple G, and he took Bivol and Triple G. And I told him, that's a weaker package, right? I said I didn't like that move, and B said, hey, look, Bivol's better than we think. And I was like, nah, Bivol ain't that guy. That's what I said no, he's gonna run through Bivol. He just getting an easy, moving up and getting an easy win against this guy, right? I completely slept on Bivol. I thought Canelo was gonna put him away, right? And then it was obvious after like the second round that was not going to happen.
I didn't think Bivol had a shot.
No,
I didn't think he had a shot in hell to win that fight. And I
no.
watched Bivol when he first started. I've been aware of him, and him being a solid fighter. But I just thought, nah, Canelo, he ain't got nothing for Canelo. So, I mean, we calling it capping. We're keeping it 100 and telling you that we did not think Bivol had a shot of winning that fight, and so that lets you know we're keeping it real on what we saw transpire in that fight. It wasn't close. In that Mayweather situation, what you saying there, I just really can't respect that. I could respectfully disagree with you, but yeah, we might not be for you.
Yeah. I mean, and look, like I said, a lot of people are finding our channel for the first time, and if you look at a lot of boxing channels, look, it gets like that. There's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of hooting, hollering in the chat or whatever. This ain't the channel for you, right? I mean, we could debate all day. That's fine. You can have different opinions, but we ain't doing a lot of name calling and all that stuff, because all that name calling and trash talking, that's fake tough. Okay, that's fake tough. You wouldn't say that to anybody in person. You just doing that online. You're not gonna see these people online, which is why you get real comfortable. We not for that over here. All right. And you want to call us a casual like the other guy earlier? That's fine. This is a casual, friendly show. We want to have casual conversations. We want to have good adult conversations. We don't want to act like children here, and we want to educate people. All right. Yes, like Suge here. Drop the link.
Yeah, we welcome debate, man. We don't mind debate. Y'all just cross the line when we get name called, but we don't mind debate.
Yeah, and look, we got enforcers in the chat, yo. Jay said, look, 2 for 2. Shout another challenger into the Ring Kings podcast circle and be respectful. Let's see. Our minds are on it today, boy. But no, man, I argue with B, because I was like, man, B ain't nothing. And man, it was obvious. Like I'm sitting there stunned. I'm just like, man, I don't recognize this guy in the ring. Right. And look, it's hard, man. Guys, it is hard. It is hard to be that good for that long. Of course he's not as interested. Of course he's not as hungry. Why? How could you possibly have that same hunger, like you did at the start of your career? Right?
Yeah.
You can't. And the difference between, first of all, I don't even like to bring up Mayweather anymore. Nobody's Mayweather. Let's just put Mayweather to the side. What Mayweather did in his later part of his career is, I mean, it's just hard to do. Like, he had the skill for it, right? He had the skill. He stayed in shape 24/7. There's no real fluctuation in his weight, right? He put on a show, make you guys think that all he did was party, but no, he stayed in shape, and he had great defense, great skill, and it was easy for him to keep fighting in his later parts of his career against top fighters. Almost no fighter can do that, right? Almost no fighter can do it like that. So it's not even fair to compare him to Mayweather. He's still really good, right? And all these guys that we're talking about, I recognize he might still beat Benavidez. Like, if they go fight Benavidez didn't look great against Plant either, right? He might beat Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo hasn't really faced anybody, so I mean, these are things that we want to see, but these aren't guarantees that these guys beat Canelo either. But we want to see that. Those are the fights that we do want to see. Now, going back to Benavidez, you're absolutely right, B. I don't want to see him take on. Yes, now this guy Morel is he's getting a little buzz, right? Yeah. So it's intriguing, right? We're not looking at him like a John Ryder type of fight, but
but it is, because he has 9 fights. You don't know what he is.
Yeah. Too early. I agree. Fight Andre.
This would be the equivalent of Canelo fighting Berlanga, which everybody would crush him for.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I feel like Berlanga might be the.
There's talks.
Yeah.
Talks.
Berlanga got a fight coming up. I think all there is right now is talks about where Canelo or who Canelo could be targeting. If Berlanga looks good in this next fight, like Mikey said, that could be a fight that goes down. So we'll see. Man, I love this Canelo talk, man. It gets people so emotional.
People got riled up, man. Riled up, man. We like Canelo, okay? It's okay. Relax. We like Canelo. It's all right.
All right. I mean, that's all we have. We already been going for over an hour, man. Okay. So what's coming up? We mentioned Berlanga. Look, who did it? Did you do? You did the what you call it? The video on Berlanga, the watch list video. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mikey recorded that a while back. Okay, he had less gray in his hair. Okay, that's how old it was. All right, I just haven't put it out. I'm gonna put it out this week because he's got a fight coming up. If you don't know who Edgar Berlanga, he's a prospect that he is a controversial prospect, I would say. Right, he came out with a lot of hype because he was knocking people out in the first round. Like I think it's like first 15 fights, 16 fights were first round knockouts, and he had. It seemed like ungodly power. Okay. So much so that I think his trainer, I think it's his father, was getting frustrated, right? Because he wanted him to work on some things and he's going out there knocking people out and just like, look, man, that wasn't the plan, right? Like that's how powerful he looked. But since then, he's been exposed a little bit and there's some clear holes in his game, but it's fine. He's young. But there's some question as to how much better he can get, how much he can improve, and if he's really going to be that guy. So he switched promotions. He was on the top rank. Now he's with Matchroom under Eddie Hearn. He's got a fight coming up this weekend, or is it next weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend. Berlanga's fighting Jason Quigley.
Okay, so we gotta see how he looks there. And he's been saying he wants to fight Canelo. I definitely don't think he's ready for that. But Canelo is declining too, so I mean, who knows, right? And that's a payday for him.
I know.
No, I agree. Listen, I agree, but look, clearly we don't get it wrong every time, or get it right every time, right? So if he's able to knock off Canelo, that would give him a whole lot of buzz, a whole lot of buzz. But we'll see. We'll see what's next for him.
I think all he does is have to look solid against Canelo, and help him out.
Yeah,
but he's I don't think he's there, but I'm interested to see how he looks, man. He's had a long layoff. He had some situations going on, where he tried to bite somebody, all of that, being suspended, all of the above, contract situation with Top Rank. They let him out of his deal. He signed with Eddie Hearn. So it's a lot of people that's waiting to see how it will look this weekend coming up. And then I think that will tell a lot of what the next moves are for him. There's already talks of if he looks well, possibly a matchup with him and Jaime Munguia, and then the winner of that fight targeting Canelo, or Canelo targeting him, however you want to put it. Or if he looks awesome in this fight, Canelo might jump and target that fight right away. So we'll see, man. But young kid, potential is there. We spoke on him a lot here, where we think proper training, man, might help him out. He's missing some things, but he's young, so we'll see what he's done and how he's been working during his time off.
Yeah. Cool, man. We didn't talk any Spence versus Crawford. That fight's coming up soon as well. They're making their rounds and doing their pressers and all that. Look, we'll see. Like the fight should have happened last year, so we having our excitement has kind of been deflated a little bit, but we're still excited to see the fight. I think that's going to be an excellent fight. All of us have Spence winning. B, I think you had to win by knockout, right?
Yeah, late. Well, I mean, not knockout, but I think it gets stopped late.
Gotcha. I think it's gonna be a decision. May even be a unanimous decision, but a close unanimous decision, right? But should be a good fight. Both of those fighters, they bring it. There's no question on either side. That they'll be ready. So, but I just think Spence is the better fighter. Now, let's finish on this. Jaron Boots Ennis, because he wants all the smoke with Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. I know we're gonna get another troll in here when we talk about Boots, because the Boots hive is real. Okay. Listen, B brought it up last week. He's a little protected. Okay. And I argued initially because I'm like, nah, Boots doesn't hide from anybody. Right? He's out there trying to call it the top, the top fighters. But this man has had a lot of fights. He's had a whole lot of fights, and there is nobody on his resume. And there's a lot of people that he could fight in that division. He's not fighting them. You can't fight Spencer Crawford. They're fighting right now. He has a fight coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and this is a pretty decent fight. This is the guy who beat Rashidi Ellis.
Yes,
Hoyman Villa. So that should be an interesting fight, but it's still not necessarily who you would want to see him in there with. But it's a step up for sure.
It's a step up, but when you talk about a division where you have Keith Thurman, you have Ugas, you have Danny Garcia. Did Danny Garcia move up? He might have moved up. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Garcia. I think he campaigning at 154 right now.
Okay, but there's a lot of options. Okay, Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis are fighting each other, so I mean that's not on the table. But like it just seems like you want two fighters, and if you don't get those fighters, there's nobody else that's even an option. You're not talking about anybody else. So, man, I don't know. Like, you're at a point now. You got to show us more than what you've shown us, and you didn't look that great in your last fight.
Yeah, I mean, look, we like Boots. Okay, so before the trolls come in, we do like Boots. And he's young, 25 years old. Boots got a lot of fights. Boots got 30 fights, right? And I think that the talk, I mean, it even surprised me. And going into his last fight, when I saw that he had already had 29 fights, I was like, wait, because he's kind of presented to us as a guy who has 17, 18, 19 fights, maybe 20 fights.
Yeah.
Young up and coming guy, the guy that people will want to watch out for, right? And I'm not saying that he there isn't some of that going on there, but there comes a time, right? And this is a step up, but he has to, like, we get it, okay? We get that you're talented. We get that, you have uber potential. But now it's time, it's time to see something, against a quality opponent. I know people going to jump in here and say he's ducked and all of that stuff, and it's being pushed to us that way, that he's a guy that's being ducked. But man, I think it's enough talent in that division, obviously enough quality fights that can be made for him. And it's just not looking good on him right now. I mean, Bud called him out, and we know how Bud can be. We know Bud, he looked funny in the light, and leading into the first initial negotiations of the Crawford and Spence fight, right? But Bud called him, live on the show. And, he tried to say you ducking, and he's like, "Where? Prove it. Show me where you sent an offer."
Right.
So it's just starting to, not look good for Boots right now. As far as his, people looking past the fact that you've already got 30 fights, right? Now it's just like, look, man, we want to see something from you, and it's time to show out. So we'll see how it looks in this fight. Hopefully, man, we look to try to get some tickets that aren't on sale yet, and it's less than a month away, so that's a little scary. But we like Boots, man, but we got to see something from Boots. We got to see a quality fight. And yeah, I know the top dogs. Everybody's going to throw out Spence and Crawford. Look, that you're not always going to get that, right? But it's enough guys under that umbrella that you can fight, and you can make a statement. He needs a statement fight. He really needs a statement fight, so that he can be thrusted in front of these guys. Like, you can no longer look past me anymore because I just whipped up on such and such. I just whipped up on Ugas if he ever fights. I just beat, Thurman, whoever. He needs one of those fights on his resume right now, and it has to be soon.
Yeah. And you mentioned something there, right? Tickets and his sale. Like, how big of a draw is Boots right now? I don't think he's that big of a draw. I don't think
No.
he would really help sell. So then now you're looking at him trying to fight the top guys, but he's not really bringing an audience with him. So it's all on Bud, who also doesn't sell, or it's all on Spence. And it's like, okay, Spence fights top fighters already, right? We know that he doesn't believe in tune-ups, but there are other top fighters that have a bigger draw than you, right? This is also a business. And looking at Boots' resume, there's nothing on there that says you gotta fight this guy next just because you have a handful. Because yeah, we calling it the Boots Hive, but let's be real about it. It ain't that big of a fan base, right? So you have a handful of people saying, "Oh, we want to see him fight Boots. We want to see him fight Boots." They ain't good enough, right? Because there's another thing. You got these, you got some emotional people that come into our chat, right? Like Foosball and the other dude earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frank Bay, right? You got these guys. They get real excited. They get real emotional when you say something about a fighter that they like, right? You get real emotional. You wanna internet fight everybody, but do you buy the pay-per-views? Right? Do the people that think like you do they buy the pay-per-views? Are they supporting these fighters to really say, hey, this guy's a draw? They he's got an audience. Fans want to see this because I see this on a live stream. Oh, fans want to see this. Fans want to see that. No, the hardcore fans want to see that. But do the casual fans that you always want to call out as casuals, they're the ones that determine a lot of these fights. Do they want to see it? Do they know who he is? And the only way they're going to know is if he really goes out there and puts his name out there, promotes himself. And you can't do that just by talking all the time, right? You've seen the guys that Spence and Crawford have fought. Go and fight them, right? I don't know. Listen, Spence might have put Ugas in retirement. I don't know. But if he's not retired, go and fight Ugas. Keith Thurman is somebody neither one of them have fought. Keith Thurman, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if he beats Keith Thurman. I'm going to be real with you. Okay, you can hate all you want. I don't see anything on his resume that says he could whoop Keith Thurman. And you can say skills and all that stuff. I don't know. Listen, you can look great. You can look great against some of these fighters that you're fighting, right? Against these no names, you can look magnificent. But when you get in there with the real one, how well do you look? He could be that guy. We don't know, but we could find out if he went and took a fight with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman chilling right now. Go do that fight. Banionis and Ortiz. The winner of that one is probably going to try to get a fight with Spence and Crawford.
Yeah.
Right? Crawford. But you need to be going out there and making some other fights happen. We'll see how you do this weekend. I expect him to win. Not this weekend, a couple weekends. I expect him to win that fight. I think Rashidi Ellis was probably going to be his next opponent if Rashidi Ellis had won that fight. But look, we'll see. But Boots, it's time. It's time for you to take some bigger fights, man, and really show what you got. But all right, I think that's it. We're going on an hour and a half. Man, that was a long stream.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long stream.
We had a couple of haters come in, so we had to, adjust.
Yeah.
A little longer.
It was fun. Listen, man. As the channel grows, we're gonna get more of those people in, right? We gotta kind of re-educate the fan base a little bit because boxing is a very emotional sport for people. And we're in these other chats, man. There's a lot of streamers out there, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Me and Mikey, we watch a bunch of those channels. Fanon, Knockout Boxing 86, Everything Boxing. There's a ton. you know, Boxing Ego, all those guys, dope content. A lot of those chats though, they get lively, boy, and they encourage a lot of the debates and stuff like that, the spirited debates. But over here, we like to be a little bit more laid back. Okay, we're definitely not for all that name calling and stuff like that. Like, don't do that trash talking if you not, you know what I'm saying. Don't do that online. Hey, is that our other assistant producer? We got both assistant producers making an appearance on here. That's what we're talking about, man. So yeah, keep it civil, keep it respectful. Hey, there's little Mikey. What's up? What's up? Yeah, keep it respectful, man. Keep it civil, and if you if you know you disagree, that's fine. That's fine. We got no problem with that. But yes, salute, Mikey. Yeah, he said don't end the stream yet. All right, I'm going to tell him where to follow us, Mikey. All right, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ring Kings Pod. If you're listening to this on audio, okay, we're available wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Give us a 5-star review, or like, or whatever platform allows you to do. Leave a comment, you know, all that good stuff. If you are on Good Pods, we are 9th. We are ranked 9th on Good Pods. Salute over there. You guys love us over there. So keep doing that. Keep supporting us over there. Hey, little Mikey. How are you? How are you?
4.
Oh, you're 4 years old?
Uh-huh.
You're a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you being a good boy? He said, I don't know. Are you behaving?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good job. Good job. Do you want to say anything to the people? You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi, everybody. Yes, he's waving. Yeah. Can you say Ring Kings Podcast?
Ring Kings Podcast.
Yeah. All right, Mikey. We'll see you later, okay?
Okay.
All right. Yes. That is our other assistant producer. Look, man, these guys they hold us down, man. They literally allow us to do the show. Right. Yes. So any last words before we get out of here?
Get your tickets to the meet and greet.
Oh, the meet and greet. If you don't know about that, going down August 4th in Columbia, Maryland at Busboys and Poets. The tickets are available on Eventbrite. I will drop the link in here. It'll be in the description as well. Definitely go and get those tickets, man. Ourselves will be there. Chris Just Joking from Deep Cover Podcast. You got Coach Evans from Sip to Tally Films, and our guy Hendo that's in the chat from the Road Pod. We will all be there. And it's going to be food, drinks, music. We're giving away prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a chill, laid back environment. We just talking, listening to some music, eating, having a good time. Okay, get some treats and be on your way. Okay, and that district, that Mayweather district, there's a lot going on over there. There's a whole lot going on. So even if you leave there, you still want something to do. There's a whole lot to do over there. So Friday night, August 4th. Okay, get your tickets now. Promise you won't regret it. It'll be a good time. All right, B, you got anything?
And you get those tickets by going to eventbrite.com and searching the Roundup Meetup.
And I just put it in the chat. Okay, so if you're looking for it, I just made it easy for you. I also put it in the description. So anybody listening to the replay, that's easy. Okay, so this is for Columbia, Maryland. If you're in the area, trust me, it's well worth the price of admission. So, all right, we are out of here. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, be on the lookout for some new content coming out. Again, the Berlanga watch list video it will be coming out this week. His fight's coming up this weekend. Look, we'll be streaming live again. Some other big fights are coming up soon. July's going to be a hot month, a very hot month. And our pound for pound list. We're overdue for it. That's coming out as well. Okay, we do a quarterly pound for pound list. It's going to be out before the Spencer Crawford fight. That's fine. Okay, because it's going to get updated again in another few months. So yes. All right, we are out of here. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody that joined us in the chat, even the trolls that came through. Okay, you made it fun for us. All right, but we are out of here. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Peace. Things that you had.